So welcome viewers to Late Night Vibes with Ine and Cece. We're going to talk about polyandry, where one woman marries many husbands. So what if I told you that in some part of the world, a woman doesn't marry just one man, but she can marry 2, 3, and 4, even more. So this is not a modern experiment or a fictional drama. It's called polyandry. And it's been practiced over the years. So what is polyandry? Polyandry is a form of polygamy where a woman marries more than one husband. It's extremely rare, like we know it's extremely rare, but it's practiced by only a few cultures and few people worldwide. So there are two main types of polyandry. So there is the fraternal polyandry. So this is where one woman marries the same brother. So where brothers shares one wife. And then we have the non-fraternal polyandry. So this is where the husbands are not related, and the woman marries more than one husband. It's interesting, right? So where is polyandry practiced? It's been practiced for generations, you'll be surprised to know. And in parts of Tibet, in China, and the Nepali mountains, and certain communities as well in southern and India, polyandry has been practiced. So, it's quite interesting to know. In these regions, the reason why they practice polyandry is because land is scarce and hard to cultivate, you see. So instead of dividing the family land amongst sons, families, and, they choose fraternal polyandry. So this is where they just want to keep the land, preserve the family land, and everything is kept intact. And that is polyandry. So it's not actually legal under most modern marriages. It's not actually legal. So, but we want to turn our attention to one video that is interesting, and that is modern, where Kenny Stevens marries more than one man. She's married to about 3 husbands, and she's married one for over 20 years legally, and then she's married one spiritually for over 10 years, and then she introduced another husband again. And this is actually in the modern world. So we would like to play a short clip of their videos, and then also invite our guest, Energy, who will give us his perspective on polyandry and then that video as well. So, by the way, Energy is from the UK. He is a musician, a content creator, and a businessman. Energy, welcome to today's show.
Hi, thank you. Hi.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to play the video, and then you all would watch, and we'll come back.
Okay.
So explain to me what's going on here. Obviously, these two ain't getting together. It's just you and you, and that's it.
Yes, they call this a poly V. So I'm in the center, and I'm with my husband, Carl. We've been together almost 30 years, and my husband, Tiger, and I have been together almost 10 years.
So when you say husband, though, is that allowed? Is that allowed under the law, or are you talking about spiritual husband one, legal husband the other?
Yes.
How does that work?
This is my legal husband, and we added this husband by having a spiritual connection ceremony.
Okay. And so how did you guys come to this situation?
Well,
yeah, it's kind of complicated, but we had genuine feelings for other people, and Kenya and I talked about it, like, hey, I'm feeling some feelings of love for someone. She had the same thing. We talked about it. We said, well, why don't we actually explore this and see where it leads? And that's how we got into it.
Yeah.
And how did you open your mind, though, as a husband, as a man, to that?
Yeah, at first I was close to it. So when she brought to me that she wanted to date other men, and that she should be able to do
but
that.
she didn't say, I want to leave you.
No,
She
no, no,
just
no.
said, I want to date other men.
Just
Right.
wanted to date. And at first I was close to that because I had never really heard like a married woman dating multiple men. Like, where does that come from? I've heard of polygyny,
You have
one
lost
man,
your
many
damn
women.
mind.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he wanted to have other women. He had said that when we first got married. So I knew that was one of his goals. And when it started to happen at year 12 of our marriage, I said, well, I would like to get in on that too, because I think it's just fair is fair.
So year 12, what happened specifically so we can all follow you?
Yeah, he came home from work and just told me how he was having feelings for a woman at his job. And he was traveling a lot and they were traveling together. And so he just was honest about his work wife.
And how do you bring that kind of honesty home?
We just talked about everything. I mean, when she had feelings for someone else, she brought it to me. We talked to our marriage counselors about it. Like we were surprised in monogamy that you actually had feelings for other people after marriage. We didn't know that that you could fall in love or have attractions outside of marriage.
Right.
So it was a surprise to us. We were
Right.
kind of innocent or naive, I guess.
And let's bring this guy into it. Go ahead.
Well, I met Tiger about 10 years ago. He was dressed as Tiger Woods on Halloween. And we had a nice dance, and I just fell immediately for him, and I had to just introduce him to the fact that I am married, and I introduced him to my husband, and just to see if he would be down to be a part of our union.
Yeah, needless to say, that was a shock for me because
I was going to ask you,
being
Tiger.
with a woman and finding out she's married. At first, I'm like, no, she's tiptoeing, like she's sneaking around. And then I actually met Carl, and it was like, okay, this brother's. He's
But
on
did
the
that
level.
set your mind right? Are you saying, okay, this is a setup, I'm going to be robbed or something?
At first, when he walked through the door, I knew the fight was on. But he was very cordial. He introduced himself, shook my hand. I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
And so how did you wrap your mind around that? Because that's not what we expect in life.
It's not, and it took a while to wrap my mind around it. At one point, Kenya and I just kind of fell off, and then we got back together, and it was a little back and forth. And then I realized that the traditional way that I'd been dating, what we call serial monogamy, where I would get with somebody and then find somebody else, I'd break up with this person, get with the next person, and it just wasn't working. And so after seeing the connection that Carl and Kenya have, and discovering that, okay, with Carl's wisdom and ability to open up, there has to be something to this whole thing. And so I kind of entered into the fold and really grew as a person. And
right. And we have the
relationship
tools
flourished.
and the technology. We run a love academy. We train couples all over the world in these technologies on how to do this lifestyle correctly and safely.
And so do you guys have a calendar, or you okay, Kenya?
We do have a Google Calendar. We have a Google Calendar.
A Google Calendar.
Yeah, because they both have other partners. He has another wife. They're in town off and on, and then I have other partners as well. So they have to have a
Keep
calendar.
up with all of this. That's too much work. But you know what? It's like but you guys are honest, but it's like being a cheater out there.
Well.
But someone who is honest, and I know what's going on, here's what's going on, so we won't have that friction.
Yep, these
in
men
our
will
lives.
never be surprised by
But my
somebody.
next question is, how do you explain it to family and friends who have closed minds? Tiger, let's begin with you.
That's a really difficult conversation, and it is a lot of work to try to get your family to wrap their minds around that. It's not an easy process, but that's where the Progressive Love Academy.
Did you have to say with some, okay, whatever, I'm moving on?
Yeah, you might have to say that with some. I personally have not had to say that with any of my family members, but for each couple, it's going to be a different story.
All right, Carl, how did you explain this to you? Obviously, they knew you and Kenya were married for years, and then all of a sudden, all of this is going on.
Yeah, I mean, my parents are traditional, so they don't believe in the polyamory or any of that kind of stuff. But they understood us. They saw us over time, really working it out. And they saw the benefit of what we were doing, being honest, keeping the family together, just really being good to each other. And over time, they kind of grew to accept it as our choice.
So Energy, thank you so much. So you've seen the video. What's your perspective on that video that you or polyandry in general?
Well, yeah, my beliefs are totally against it, really. And I don't see how it can work. Because when I watch the video, I can see straight away potential problems you're going to get. Because men are territorial, men are possessive. And I know that particular video, she's an older woman, But what if she got pregnant? Who would be the father? Is all these different things. And compared to polygyny, I just can't see it working. I mean, and nothing outside God's design is going to work anyway. But I'm still trying to understand what the motive is behind it for the men, because men don't like to share anything. Men are already fighting and having wars all over the world to take territory.
When you think about these
What
men
would they
are
want to share?
happily sharing Kenny.
Yeah, maybe it's a fetish or something. I don't know, you know. But I would have thought if a man is going to share a woman, she has to be some really fine woman worth sharing. She's okay, you know what I mean. But I'm thinking, I'm trying to understand. She's a beautiful woman, beautiful black mature woman, but I don't know. It's strange. But I'm looking at the first husband and trying to understand his motive. He's very quiet, isn't he? He's very quiet, doesn't say a lot, and I would want to speak to him like, why would you want to do this? The second husband, he's already insecure about the third one. He's
Yes.
worried that he's gonna get replaced. That's the funny thing about it. So
But remember,
yeah,
if you listen to their stories, the first
yeah.
husband started this whole thing first. So, from what I understood from their story, he had, I think, another lady, or he's been seeing another ladies, and then the other ladies, and then Kenny told him that she also would
Okay.
like to do that. That was how this whole story started.
Oh, see,
Yeah, they've been married for
I
20
didn't see that.
years and they have children as well. So when Kenny talked about that, then they introduced it to the children and spoke about it with the children.
So he had other women outside the marriage then.
Yeah, they do, all of them, even the second husband as well.
Oh, well, that don't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. So yeah, so that would make more sense than why these men would do that here, because they've got other women outside anyway. So they're kind of being a man and being polygamous in they're fulfilling their nature elsewhere. So they probably don't even care what happens there. Maybe security, bringing all the finances together in one house
Yeah.
is cheaper, it's more. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense then.
But then they
Because I
said
thought it
it's
was just
transparency as
those
well.
three.
They're
Hmm?
being transparent. They said it's transparency as well, a little of her cheating and all of those ones. So it's best they all know.
Hmm. But what do you think of it then? Because you've had the discussion about polygyny and the biblical part. So what do you think of it?
But yeah, I'll come there because I know you're more on polygamy as well. But for me, I don't know what to say. What I think, I'll tell you where my concern is STD. What if they get, I don't know about STDs and STI. What if they introduce these things to each of the partners? Because I don't know how they protect themselves, sexually. That's where I'm a bit concerned. Overall, what do you think about polyandry?
So, to be honest, it's just total abomination. It's just totally wrong. It doesn't. It's not going to produce more children. It's impossible.
No,
A woman can't have any more children than one at a time. So that's why it's not fruitful. It's not productive,
I like that point.
and men are going to end up being territorial and fight and being jealous and all sorts because that's the man's nature.
Yeah.
It's so that's why I'm trying to understand what you said earlier on about, because I did research as well, the same countries you said, why they would do it. It still don't make sense to me, but
It's mainly to preserve the land and then the culture because they just don't have, they have few land there. So they just want to preserve everything instead of sharing it amongst different men and all of that. So one man comes, marries many women, and then they all do the job together. And sometimes the women in those cultures are wealthy, so they can, in their own rights. So those ones are
yeah,
there,
but
like in Tibet and
why does one woman have to marry more than one man to preserve the land?
and it's part of their culture. So you can't.
Unless they're brothers, because you mentioned something about brothers
Yeah, they also have
too.
the paternal polyandry
Yeah,
as well. So those are their cultures as well, and
yeah,
things that we have to dig deep and know why. But it's been there for years and years, for centuries. But
yeah,
seeing the modern side of it, where the likes of Kenny, they really do
Sydney.
it. So it's where we're here. So, and I know that you're big
Yeah,
on polygamy and all of that. So
yeah,
sometimes I wonder if
literally.
the polygamy where a man marries more than one wife.
Yeah.
Mhm. So sometimes
Well, so the Bible's big in it because it's got lots of polygynous marriages all over it. So it's the Bible, really, that I look at.
yeah.
I just
So
follow yeah. That's the culture there. It's African culture as well. It's all over Africa, you know.
mm.
So and the
But
Bible's all
when you say
over
it's an
Africa.
when you say it's an abomination, or you said it's a total abomination, if that was the word, the
Yeah,
phrase you used, is that not
yeah.
like a double standard where men can marry many women, but a
But
woman
it
can't marry?
but it doesn't work both ways. We're both different.
Oh.
One was created first. The woman was created for him. He's supposed to look after and provide for her. If you watch the video, she's really the head of the whole thing. She's in control of the whole thing. They're all submitting to her, and these are supposed to be men. So they're not creating.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, they're not creating their own families. They're all now submitting to her. She's even choosing the men and the dynamics of the home and everything. They're
I'm
like
saying an
they're like
answer,
we
but well built, and I don't know. Yeah,
we
go on.
just it's not manly, and biblical culture is about patriarchy and things like that. So, uh, according to scripture, it's just totally, yeah. It's she just whoring herself. She's just making herself a whore, really, to be honest. And look, in the world, if a woman has multiple men, is she seen as like a virtuous? The body count of a woman is always more important than the body count of men. So if a woman's got a high body count, that's the thing to men, you know. But with men, it's non-existent. Men are not expected to be virgins, but women are supposed to have a low body count. So if she has multiple husbands, then it's frowned on. It's looked down upon by most societies. It's looked
Okay,
down
so then
upon.
that brings a big question to why is male polygamy normalized while female polygamy is rejected? If our viewers answer this
So
question,
it's
why is male polygamy accepted and female polygamy rejected? That's okay. Go on, Nigel.
because we're not both the same. You have to look at the differences. One produces children one at a time. Another can impregnate many women all his life. You see, so you can see that like we've been created a particular way. Men are being created to multiply their seed.
Yeah.
So he can do to many women. A woman, we're just not the same. We can't be equal with that because one receives, one gives. One is the dominator, one is the receiver and the submitter.
Yeah.
But if you try to say we're both the same, why can't she do what the man do? We're stronger. We go to war, politics, we build everything. It's just the more the world tries to switch everything, it's just gonna be a mess. Yeah, it's
Hey,
just normal human nature, godly nature. But just the question is a problem. That question would be asked: why can't a woman do what a man can do? You know.
that's yeah.
But let's look at the results, though. One man can have hundreds of children through polygyny, but that way around, it doesn't produce anything. It doesn't repopulate society, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And right now, societies are dying out because polygyny is not allowed.
So
Then societies are dying out.
so we can look at it as okay. Should we say it's emotional? It's just a part. I mean, for pleasure, they're doing it for pleasure, or um, you know, because for them they think it's right what they're doing. Um, so people are not going out there. They're being
But
truthful, sincere.
if the thing about it, if I thought it was just those three, so that makes it
No,
unique. But if those men have got women outside, then it's like they're playing a game. They're doing this different thing here, but out there they're being
but
real.
she is the head of the home.
So those men probably don't even care. They think, well, I've got others out there, so she's ahead of that home. But it's like if they're going out and they have their other women, then it's not really just those three then, or those four. Does that
Um,
make sense?
yeah, it does.
I thought they were
Anyway,
saying this is the only woman they're gonna have, and they're gonna share her, and that's it. But
they have more. in their
so,
case, in their case, they have more. But in the side
yeah,
of, in the other, in like the Nepali mountains and Tibet, I don't know how many they have, but in her case, they have more. And they all do, they understand, they know each other sort of. I know
mm,
I've seen a case where I've watched one where one's partner wasn't comfortable with, that sort of polygyny, polyandry,
yeah,
and she pulled out of it and said no, she doesn't want a man to be in that relationship.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that happened in Kenny's case as well. One of the ladies
Okay,
didn't want the man to be in that relationship. Um,
really.
and of course, yeah, and they've got the academy as well. So for me, what do I think? So let's give our final thoughts now. So let's have our final thoughts. Do I think it's ethical? I wouldn't say it's for me to judge. Certainly, it's not for me to judge. It's complex,
Okay.
but most people think. So it's not for me to judge. So to our viewers, what do you think about polyandry? Now you know about polyandry, just in case you don't know what polyandry is, you know about polyandry now, and you know the two types of polyandry as well. So could it ever work in modern society? Can I do it? No, I can't do it because for me, I believe in one woman, one man. I've had this conversation with Nigel many times. I don't kick against polygamy, not at all. I've made a video before. I don't have an issue with polygamy. I don't have an issue with polyandry. Whatever you want to do with yourself is yourself. That's my own thought about that. My concern, I've said what my concern is, and that's about it. So to our viewers, what do you think about polyandry? Could it ever work in a modern society? Remember to drop your comments in the comment section. We want to hear more about this. And remember to give this video a like, subscribe, and share the video. And Nigel, your final thoughts in part two, Jamaican part tour.
Oh no.
Jamaican part tour.
Yeah, you want
Oh
to hear this?
man.
What me think? The whole thing is it's foolishness, absolute foolishness. I mean, think these men, them stupid, them have no sense. And what I was going to ask you is, if the whole world really did do this rascal thing of polyandry, the whole human race would die out. We're just dead and gone. But religion, it can repopulate the nation. You get me? You see what me I deal with. You see? So them man, this a waste man. Them is a waste man, them man there. I don't know man them. It is some I don't know man, sure. But for me, me know the right way. Me follow the Bible, what the Bible say. Theme. Yeah man. So
Well
okay.
done, yo man. Is that it? Yo man.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Thank you so much, Nigel. And to our
Okay. Okay.
energy, to our viewers, want to say thank you so much for
Yeah,
all
energy.
subscribing. Yeah, energy. Go on. Do you want to say something, energy?
No, that's it. I was gonna ask you actually, which do you think is better, polyandry or polygyny? Which one do you think is better? As you say
I've
that you
said,
you just one man, one woman. So which
if
one
you
do you think is better for
say
society, better for
monogamy,
more productive?
of course,
Which of the two, polyandry?
the point you made about polygamous, where of course the man can go and produce, otherwise the world is finished. That is a very
Mm,
vital point. And for someone like me, I don't kick against it, but one man, one woman, that's for me, right? I'm not sharing my man with another woman, and my man will not share me with another
really?
woman. Yeah,
You'd
right?
never do that? You'd never share?
No, I don't want to share. So that's that. But on that note,
Take you off my list then.
I do not kick
Carry on.
against it. Whatever they want to do with their lifestyle, like I said, it's not for me to judge, right?
Mm,
So that's what I think. But taking what you said about reproduction. It's a very vital point. You know, we women,
Yeah.
a woman cannot be married to 3, 4 wives. We're men and then reproduce just like that. But of course, the man can even impregnate 4 women and have a small children. So that is a very vital one. You know, and
Didn't they practice this in your home country? Have you ever seen it? Growing up, practice.
no, no,
Never.
no. I don't know about now, but I don't know much. I
Oh,
mean, our viewers, please feel free to let us know. But what I know
okay.
about Nigeria, polyandry is not practiced, but you
No,
never.
no, no, not polyandry, but polygyny. I mean, polygyny.
Of course, you know they do not energy. That's a question you're asking.
Okay, good. No, because I've asked some Africans, and there's, I don't know, it depends how they're growing up, what part of the regions they've grown up in, their age as well. Some are not as clued up on it as others, and others have come from a lot of polygynous families. So
No,
that's why I always ask, yeah.
no,
Especially if they've been in the UK for the last few
no,
decades.
it's fine. No, it's been practiced anyway. So
Okay,
polygamy has been practiced in Africa. It's
okay,
some sort of way of life. So
yeah, yeah. So you have
anyway,
to
so
accept it.
gone.
If you accept it, then I think maybe you should, should give it a try,
To be honest,
Give it a try.
if I was to give anything a try, I'll try the polyandry if I can.
Oh, see, really? You would try that instead? Oh my God. You would try
Viewers,
that
is
one
it wrong
first.
to try something like that? I could try polyandry,
Mm-mm. Okay.
but I don't have the energy to deal with one, let alone two
Really?
or three.
Mm-mm. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Oh, have you got anything else to say before we round up energy?
Um, the last thing I would say is, I think biblically, it's about understanding the scriptures, and that the Bible's clear that it's all over the Bible. It wasn't a problem to God, and it was never condemned. So this modern Christian thing of it's one man, one woman is why you have so much issues and problems now. You know, divorce rate is through the roof and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we need to get this right.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So thank you so much, our viewers, and remember to like, subscribe to Late Night Vibe with Ine and CC, share our video, and thank you once again for always returning. And I will see you again. And to our guest, Nigel, thank you so much. Energy.
Okay. Thanks. That's okay. My pleasure.
So to our viewers, thank you so much for always returning and energy. Welcome and thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. That's okay.
See you again.
Okay.
Bye.